Welcome to another episode by episode look at an obscure British television show that I think deserves a bit more attention. Though definitely more in an adamant way than a bone kickers kind of way. This is Mud. It's a very offbeat kids show from 1994 that starred baby Russell Tovey, who you might recognise from a bunch of stuff, like Doctor Who and stuff I've not watched. There were two mainly self-contained seasons. The first, an episodic look at hijinks in holiday camp, and the second, an epic Stephen Moffatish tale of time, magic, revenge, and the end of the world. I'm mainly going to be skipping season 1. That might be a blessing in disguise though, because season 1 heavily featured a very young, pre-everything distinctive Russell Brand, who's introduced with his tongue down someone's throat, so even back then he was still on brand.
Do you absolutely have to keep kissing?
Yes.
Details in the show are a bit thin on the ground, as it's never been repeated or released on DVD, but it appears to be the brainchild of one Daniel Peacock, who you might recognise from a few parts in random things over the years, such as this.
We were set upon by like 10, 12, 15 large big lads.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
In this video, I'll be giving an overview of Season 1 so you don't have to go in cold to Season 2, even though you probably could, and it might be a better way to watch the show, seeing as how much better and more interesting Season 2 is. Honestly, I just don't want a bunch of comments asking where my reviews of Season 1 are. If you like the look of the show, it's not available anywhere to my knowledge except YouTube. The BBC gives so few craps about the show that several years ago someone uploaded the whole thing, complete with period TV presenters sporting the mid-90s gay medieval peasant look. So if you want to watch it, start searching on YouTube. Mud's intro is frankly spectacular. It's like the Take On Me music video crossed with Ang Lee's Hulk. Like a scrapbook full of scrawls come to life. Even the theme music is great. Cut down, simple, basic, and with a great riff. And like everything else, it's even better in Season 2. Anyway, here's my look at Season 1. A couple of inner-city kids are sent to a holiday camp with a social worker for mostly unexplained reasons. The Cruella de Vil-like boss of the camp, Miss Palmer, is played by Victoria Wicks, who you might, but you probably don't remember from Drop the Dead Donkey. As you would expect, she's cruel, vain, and allergic to poor people.
They're not normal kids. They're urban.
Gives them a chance to get away for a few days. A bit of fresh air, nice bit of grass.
They've got grass at home.
If they bring any of that devil weed into my camp, I'll flay them and eat their skin. Mine's not quite tight enough. Her first act of overt evil, literally segregating the poor inner-city kids. All 2 of them.
She's my sister.
All 3 of them, in a remote part of the camp. Past a minibus that's been left abandoned on the road for the last 11 years since the owner starved to death. Her main hobbies are punching this kid. And stealing from the kids at the camp.
That's my purse. What's her purse doing here?
This big woodland area. The little animals of the woods often come and find the things we humans have dropped.
Turns out that the owners of that bus had a kid who went feral and roams the more remote parts of the camping grounds. Naturally, forms some sort of bond with Ruby, one of the main characters. She's the one who was snuck into the camp by her brother, causing no end of hijinks.
She's my sister.
Mrs. Dutteridge is a social worker. She's chipper, slightly batty, likes to invent songs, and expects everyone else to know them.
Come on, everyone, gather round, take an interest. Look! Look at that happy horsey, it's with his happy friend. What's that game they're playing? Right. Got the right mistake. Oh. We're going to heave you up. And those horses are still... Never mind what the horses are doing, Bill.
Takes a special kids show to give us an extended bit of off-screen horse sex. 10 minutes in. Anyway, she's one of only 3 characters in both seasons, and she's played by Susie Blake, who spent much of the last decade in Mrs. Brown's Boys. The other 2 characters in both seasons are Bill and Ruby, the brother and sister team among the inner city kids. Both are varying degrees of cockney.
Oi! Ruby! Come on! You're not going to bring him, are you?
Well, I'm not going to leave him. There's no one to feed
exciting.
Bill is Bill Bailey, which is just distracting, and he's played by Russell Tovey. He and his friend Alice are fairly generic examples of mouthy and streetwise 90s kids, quickly able to raise the £50 necessary for Ruby to stay at the camp once she's discovered. You see, even though she rescued everyone, including the boss of the camp, from this mud hole, she's still going to be chucked out if they don't find the money.
Hello, my name's Ruby.
I don't want your name. I want your 50 quid.
Such is the evil of the camp boss. Alice is played by Ronan Alasso, who retired from acting pretty much after they finished filming this and is a singer now. Steve the teddy bear is a teddy bear. One of Ruby's quirks is that she thinks he's sentient and dating Joanna Lumley.
And he went out with Joanna Lumley.
Yeah, and he went out with Joanna Lumley.
Do you know who you're talking about?
Of course I know who I'm talking about. Who am I talking about?
Steve!
There's an undercurrent of punk and punk-adjacent stuff throughout the show. The intro is very kiddie punk, but there's also stuff like when Ruby, who's about 8, was sent to rescue some other characters and is told to sing a song to keep her spirits up. And then she sings this.
We're so pretty, oh so pretty, vacant.
Over the course of 7 episodes, there's a Kids Shitty Barkley Marathon.
Oh no! It's poo!
That's right, Ruby, a pit of poo. Now you know where your sewage goes.
Between the inner city ones and the middle class ones, which the inner city ones win because they have the MVP, Steve the teddy bear.
Ruby, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Steve!
Hopefully she wouldn't do that if she realised that she almost dropped him into a stream of shit.
Oh no! It's poo!
There's team building night under the stars for the kids, where they're only moderately dickish to each other.
Ah!
What is it?
Look what she put on my toothbrush! I nearly put it in my mouth!
What's this doing here?
Why? Because the camp boss, Miss Palmer, found a better deal and rented the cabin rooms out to some twats. Naturally, the subplot crashes headfirst into a storm in swift vengeance. It's also the same night where Russell Brand and his present girlfriend start a very long-running tradition of running off to party when they're meant to be working. Still, there's a sing-along where the kids show off an alternate take on the theme song.
Mud, mud, ooh, ooh, mud. Muddy, 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 mud, mud, mud. Mud, mud, ooh, ooh, mud. Muddy, 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 mud, mud, mud. Mud, mud, ooh, ooh, mud. Muddy, 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 mud, mud, mud. Mud, 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 mud. Who's next?
Round here they call me Frankenstein. I know I'm not a charmer, but even I am beautiful compared to Miss Palmer.
In another episode, some criminals, played by writers Daniel Peacock and Mickey Hutton, escape from prison, and all kinds of hijinks ensue when they try to reclaim some diamonds stashed near the camp. Lucky for the kids, all this interrupts them being used for slave labour.
Miss Palmer, I thought Tuesday was the Woodland Walk.
No, on Tuesdays it's Path Building, then it's Woodland Walk. Go on, fun, isn't it?
And then being bored in a forest.
Right. What's that?
An oak tree.
Oak tree. And that's
Hard man with tattoos.
hard man with
If any of you lot move, he'll break her neck.
They kidnap Ruby and force the other kids to reclaim the diamonds, and inexplicably none of the middle-class kids who hate Ruby run off to phone the police. Anyway, the kids find the diamonds, the criminals decide to kill the kids, and it's war. If war was a few minutes of a moderately paced kids' version of Mad Max in an English wood. Followed by a tiny kids' version of Straw Dogs, which I think you'll agree would have vastly improved Straw Dogs. Episode 6 is about the kids putting on a show, which is weird given that this is literally day 6 of their visit, and they spent about 80% of their time getting to wacky adventures. It's a variety show, which wouldn't be so bad if it was for talents, but some of them have been roped into doing fucking Shakespeare.
But soft. What light through yonder window breaks?
Wake me up when he's finished, will ya?
One kind of subtle thing that I love is that the whole season takes place over a single week, because it both is and isn't an arc. There's no real ongoing plot, but we're literally seeing each day of the week, And by the end, I can totally see why Miss Palmer fucking hates kids. I mean, she's a classist tool who hates the poor kids more, but in general, she might have a point. Anyway, this episode features quite a good trick.
Take a glass of water, put it on each hand, and if you're scared of us, there'll be ripples of fear across the surface. Grrr! See? Nothing. Oh, must have been wrong. Bye! Victim, victim, victim. Oh,
And a love story between Alice and one of the middle-class kids.
You were kissing! And not fighting!
So, we're in love, are we?
Which leads to them trying to bring the perspective sides together. Of course, everyone else works together and plots to stop any chance of peace. It's basically Star Trek 6, but with tweens, and if Kirk and Chang run off together. And quickly worked out that they actually hated each other before the finale.
Shut up.
No, you shut up.
Anyway, towards the end, we get to see Miss Palmer in her full glory, not giving a shit about runaway children, and acting as an accidental representation of the Boris Johnson government.
I can't believe it! You'd risk 2 young lives for the sake of money?
Don't knock money. It has its uses.
And we get to see possibly the silliest thing in the show, an audience enjoying a kid's variety performance. Before the kids bring down the house, I mean.
That's what I like! Little things hitting each other!
Episode 7 is the last day of camp, so everyone's getting ready to head home. But what will happen with Ruby and the feral wild boy's friendship? Spoiler, he ends up living at her and Bill's house, but vanishes before season 2. Still, we get all kinds of heartfelt goodbyes.
Well, I'm pleased we're going home. I won't have to see Cilla Black again.
Who are you calling Cilla Black?
Oh, sorry, did I say Cilla Black? I meant to say
The middle-class kids leave early, but Ruby's missing, so it's up to Bill and Alice to find her, but that's not all, because it's a U-rated Lord Flashheart balloonist who crashed near the camp, and is followed around by a keyboardist's first attempt at a Superman theme. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that distracted him to crashing. Naturally, A, he's called Harrison Ford, and B, I'm not kidding about that.
Not the Harrison Ford?
No, not the Harrison Ford.
Well, why not the Harrison Ford?
Wrong face, wrong accent, DNA, nationality, talent level, and he's much too personal to be the real Harrison Ford. But they do have aircraft crashes in common. Anyway, he and Miss Palmer instantly fall in love with each other for reasons that I'm sure aren't entirely unrelated to some kind of fetish.
Shut up, Miss Dudderidge!
My word, Miss Palmer. You do have a fiery temperament.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Ford.
No, it's actually rather attractive.
Because the episode finally realised it needed a plot, his balloon gets loose and it's a madcap chase to find it. So in one van, there's a bunch of drama and some violence.
Everything okay, ladies?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Come on, children, you've been told before it's not nice not to be nice. Ah!
And in the other, a dejected Ruby goes home without her friend, the wild boy. Naturally, she finds the balloon near her housing estate and the wild boy in her house, because he stole the balloon, worked out where she lived, and steering a balloon isn't as hard as you'd think.
Where's Bill?
Bill will be back in time for season 2, but if the bus keeps going, I'm going to have to eat most of the rest of the cast in order to make it home alive. Maybe this is why Alice doesn't come back next season. So why is this called Mud? As far as I can tell, because this happens halfway through episode 1.
Don't be so daft, of course it's safe to stand!
The name just screams placeholder and they ran out of time to place something better. This is a good season, it's an unusually well-written kids show with just the right amount of offbeat, punkish energy to keep things interesting. But then again, season 2 is where it really amps up, and I'll start my episode by episode look shortly.